Bobbie J has decided to defect to Reform. It's not been officially announced yet, but he's been sacked by Badenoch after they found evidence that he was about to do it. How does this change anything? Probably not as much as people think in the short term. It gives momentum to Reform as a second large defection in the last week. It also begins to promote the idea of the Conservative Party as an institution which is failing slowly but surely. That doesn't matter in probably now, but I suspect it will begin to matter both for money but also actually in terms of the May elections. If they are as catastrophic for Labour and the Conservatives as I think most people expect them to be, then the Conservatives will cease to exist, as will Labour, across entire sections of the country as a meaningful political force. And I think taking those two things taken together probably will do for the party in the longer term. Though, I'm sure it will continue to survive in some level or t'other. Certainly, though it will likely rule the Conservatives out over this electoral cycle. I've never really bought the idea that there was going to be some sort of miraculous recovery. I just don't think it's where the British public is now. If you look at the polling is very much as I think it was even Sir John Curtis said when interviewed during the recent Welsh elections. He said it's not so much a vote for any particular party, it's a vote against Labour and it's a vote against the Conservatives. And I think you're seeing that across everything. How will Jenrick fit in with Reform? I think that's an interesting one. He and Kruger are apparently very close, have a similar view of the world. I'm sure no promises have been made, but wink, wink, it would not surprise me to see him as in the Home Secretary brief. That would make sense. He has served as a junior minister within the Home Office. He largely loathes the department, seeing it as a failed institution, which is what it is. His views on crime punishment and migration are pretty much mainstream across most of the Reform Party. And or the alternative is something like Attorney General, maybe. No. It would have to be Home Secretary. Home Secretary, I would think. So I think there is a fit there. I think it makes sense. I think he can probably get in. Anointed as Farage's successor, yeah, entirely possible. How Farage is going to manage the egos that are starting to pile up in Reform is a good question. I think he's got to make someone Chancellor, and apparently Tice and Youssef both fancy their chance at that. So at some point that becomes potentially a flashpoint. But then, patronage is the predominant power of the Prime Minister should Farage become Prime Minister. I think the other thing that the Jenrick move actually does, and there's some debate around this, is if the May elections are as bad as people think, if the Conservatives slowly circle, then Jenrick actually becomes an important person, as does Kruger, in the sense of uniting the right. That is the people who can potentially reach across to the Conservative membership and say, you need to demand some sort of coalition with the with Reform as junior role potentially, but some sort of role like that. And I think also can demonstrate the fact that the Conservatives probably need to have to clear out the stables. So I think it's interesting. I don't think it changes anything particularly in the short term. It will be very interesting to see how the personalities fit together now in Reform. But I do think that not quite, but certainly it's starting to have that sense of inevitability in terms of the Conservative Party moving into a much more junior role over this electoral cycle, if not forever. So we'll see. Anyway, nice speaking to you. Bye.